Hey, everybody, we're going to take a look at 5 features that camera companies are looking at possibly putting in to their future cameras. This is going to be controversial. Are we ready for this one? Let's do it. Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. This is going to be a very controversial one, but before I get into that, if you're new to the channel, this is dedicated to photography and as a photo artist pushing ourselves out creatively, thinking literally out of the box. Okay, with this out of the way, just a heads up, this had to be recorded in advance. So when this is being released, I believe it'll be April 2nd. I'm just coming back from Nashville, Tennessee. I was there for a 2-day photo session with I thought was going to be 4 models to work with, and it ended up being 5 models. And if I get a chance, I might show you the what happened down there and some of the images by the end of April. But let's jump into today's program. And I have to be very careful the way I present this because I'm sort of under oath. I can't mention, well, a couple company names I can mention, but things that are being thought of for future cameras by different, say, companies, plural there, may happen, it may not. But here's what's happening in the industry. Camera manufacturers are realizing that they need to do something unique to come up with something new to put into their cameras to want, to have photographers want to buy these cameras in the future. And right now it's like, people are fed up with like megapixels because most people don't need all that information. I've been telling people, I was shooting weddings at 8 megapixels back in 2005, 6, and 7. Later was 15 megapixels. I don't like anything more than 20, 25 megapixels. The camera I have that I've been using for years shoots 26 megapixels. That's way more information I need to have when I was shooting weddings. So that, that pixel stuff is sort of getting old, and people, oh, mine shoots 40 or 50 or 75. What are you going to do with all that information? Especially most people don't even print, right? I mean, I do, others do, but the point is, what's going to be attractive for you to jump in to buy something? I'll give you an example. Everybody has these things, or most everybody. They're cell phones, right? And a lot of people buy these every 2 years. Why? I have no idea. I buy mine about every 6 years. In fact, I've got this Samsung, let's see, Galaxy S24 Plus, something like that, whatever. And the only reason I bought this, because I've had my Samsung S8, Galaxy S8, for 6 years. It will be going on 8 years right now if I didn't upgrade. The only reason I upgraded was the camera still, the phone still worked, and the camera and all the other features, except one of my apps that I use on a regular basis that has to do with my car wasn't working. And I thought there was a bug on the car manufacturer. Well, there's an update on the app. Oh, okay. Well, the update wouldn't support the old operating system that's on the Galaxy S8, and that operating system won't go any further. So I had to make a decision, not use the app or invest in a new phone. So I got the new phone. But if that app still worked, I'd still be using my Samsung Galaxy S8. Loved that. But anyhow, why should I buy a new camera? What's going on here? Okay, so let's cover 5 different areas. And I had to write these things down. Number 1 is, this has already started. I'll just throw a name out. We'll take a look at it real fast. And that is Hasselblad. And that is creating a camera that is camera-centric, meaning it's photo-centric, I should say. It's not going to take videos at all. It only takes pictures. Okay, so it's unique to that only. And other companies are thinking about doing the same thing. I'm not allowed to mention the names. It may happen, it may not. I don't know. But it always seems like when somebody comes out with stuff, then everybody else tends to follow right behind. Okay, so we'll see what happens. But for me, I'm not in the market for a new camera. But if I was, I definitely would go for a camera that just photo-centric. I don't shoot video professionally. I don't need a hybrid camera at all. Okay, so that's one issue that they're looking at right now, is a camera that just does photos, which leaves extra technology and space to do other things, which is number 2. And number 2 will be, and by the way, let's take a look at this. I talked about this, I think, last year. This is Hasselblad's X2D 100C. Cool name, right? I'm being sarcastic here. That is Photo-centric. You're not going to take videos with that camera. Which leads me to number 2. And number 2 is, why do we need these things? These SD card slots. We always had one, then, you got to have 2 slots. This camera right here, the Hasselblad, they got rid of that 1 slot, and it only has the 1 slot. I mean, there's no 2 slots, it's just a 1 slot. But there's a 1 terabyte drive, internal drive. 1 terabyte. Now, here comes a company called, and I don't know if you follow this or not, Sigma. And what did they do? They came out with a camera that it does shoot video. I'll give you the specs real fast, and you could find it on the internet. But no SD card slots at all. 100%. I don't know if you're going to like that or not, but hey, I think it's going to be coming into other cameras in the future. I just can't mention brand names. We've all been living with these things, taking videos and photographs. And, some of the phones I had a few years ago, I could put a micro SD card to expand the internal memory, but now all these phone companies are getting rid of it. And right. So it's all internal. So I think we're going to start seeing this evolving going into cameras. And by the way, some are predicting, now I'm the messenger on all this stuff, okay? It's not me saying this. I'm just moving the information towards you. Some people are saying, boy, do you remember the days when we used to have these things to put in cameras? How archaic and old-fashioned was that? It's like remember when we had stick shift and 3-speed on the column of our cars? What happened to that stuff, right? Gone. So we'll see what's happening here with the other manufacturers, but some are considering putting 2 internal drives in. Maybe like a 0.5 terabyte on one and a 0.5 terabyte on the other. So if you want like an emergency backup, because maybe you're shooting RAW on one side, you want JPEGs to go on the other, whatever, we'll see what happens. But anyhow, looks like, in the future, we might have just internal drives and no more of these things anymore. So anyhow, so that's number 2. And this, just to give you quick specs on this, because this is very simplistic type of camera. It's a full frame camera, by the way, with changeable lens. It's something that a lot of experts are saying, this is a camera that Apple would probably produce, something very clean looking in that. And the thing I don't like about this, because it doesn't fit me. Now, maybe, travel camera, something like that, that's fine. But I need to have one of these things on there. It's called a hot shoe. This is a point and shoot. And, it's got a card slot. But the point is that for me, I shoot in the studio a lot, and I have to put triggers on there to fire lights. And for exercises and when I teach classes and that, a lot of times I will use this point and shoot just to prove to people that you don't have to have a big high-end camera to produce good results. But anyhow, if we take a look at this camera, let's see, it's going to come with 9 different lenses that you can choose from. It'll shoot 6K video at 120 frames per second. And let's see what else is that. So 25 meg is your file size, RAW and JPEG, whatever, and a 230 meg internal drive. A lot of people don't think that is enough, but it says that you can shoot 2.5 hours of video on that if you had nothing else, on that drive. So I think for photographs and that, it's going to be fine. If you're a heavy video person, well, you may have to, clear that internal memory and stuff out. But anyhow, $2,000 for that camera. Is it worth it? I can't answer that. I looked at some of the sample images. I mean, it looks awesome in that, but for $2,000, I paid like 800 something for this camera. And, yeah, it's not going to shoot 6K video and that, but I don't care. I don't use it for video. So anyhow, so that is, already starting, and that is the internal drives. This one is not photo-centric, but we will start to see, I think, some of that coming in the future. Okay, number 3. Some are thinking about no lens changes. In other words, something like a point and shoot like this. This is the G1X Mark III. The only thing they're looking at, because of something new technology that's been around for a while, but not in here yet, and that's called AI, they're talking about a large lens on this, and it'll go in and out a bit like this does. This is equivalent to, I think it's a 28 mil to 70 something mil. If I shoot JPEG with it, it's equivalent to like almost 300 or something. But anyhow, how would you like to have a camera that you don't have to change lenses at all, but the optics are big on that, not like my point and shoot, and with AI can simulate, like this is a 7 to 10 fisheye lens, all the way to 300 mil as a zoom. All done with AI technology built into the camera, which means you don't need to be purchasing any lenses at all. It's all built into the one unit. So that is something that's being kicked around by 3 major companies. I will not mention names. I'm not going to get in trouble, and I don't want to ruin my sources here. All right, so that's number 3. Number 4, and that is, I gave that away. Yeah, no lenses. Oh, yeah, I'm sorry, but number 4 was, the wide angle using AI, that kind of stuff. But number 3 was, again, no lens to change and stuff. And like this camera, a leaf shutter, my sync speed on this is 0.002 of a second. Now, I've never shot that high in the studio with strobes, but I did shoot at, I think, 5 or, I can't remember, it was over 500. Everybody else was shooting like f8, I think, at that time. And I set this to shoot at 2.8, and I had it at a higher sync speed, and everything came out fine. And again, that goes as high as 0.002. Most cameras, it's 200 to 250 as a sync speed if you're shooting with strobes. So these cameras, their newer ones possibly coming out in the future, will have a much higher sync speed because they're using a leaf shutter like this one does in the cameras. So again, we'll see. So that I sort of screwed that up. I'm sorry. That's number 3, and number 4 was the telephoto, the super wide angle or fisheye, and it's all done with AI technology with a single lens in the camera. It's just that the optics are bigger than this. This point and shoot, I mean, if you look at it, I don't know if that's going to show up or not, but the lens size, I believe, is going to be the optics about twice the size of that, if not bigger. So again, that would be number 4, and that is using AI. And also, they're talking about, and they're looking at AI in the camera to basically replace, and I don't know if they're going to keep at or just add something new, but everybody has auto on their dials, and we know what auto stands for, right? Amateurs use this one. Well, they're looking at incorporating AI that if you choose, you can still do manual, but if you want AI to take over, it's going to do all the judgment calls for you perfectly and stuff, and take away a lot of thinking so you can focus more on your framing, the lighting outside or in your studio, whatever you're doing. So again, those are the 5 things. Let me just recap them again. 1 is cameras centric. Number 2 is getting rid of the SD card slots, no more card slots at all. No lenses to change, that kind of stuff with a leaf shutter system, so you have a very fast sync speed. Number 4 is using AI technology with that lens to simulate fisheye all the way to a high-end zoom. And then number 5, again, is AI controlling the auto features of your program. So if you don't want to do things in manual and you just want the camera to think for you, you concentrate on your framing, lighting, that kind of stuff, that may be coming into our cameras in the future. So I don't know how you think about that. Make some comments. And again, I'm the messenger. I don't want to be slammed, hey, you're crazy, blah, blah, blah. I'm just saying this is what's being kicked around. And some of this stuff is already coming into fruition, like we're seeing, in the Sigma camera. There's no card slots anymore. Hasselblad dropped it down to 1 card slot. with a terabyte internal drive. Incredible. So we'll see what's going to be happening in the near future. All right, so with that out of the way, I should get back to normal the following week. We'll take a look at some techniques using software for our photography. Until next time, you know the way I always end, or at least most of the time, and that is get that camera out, let's get shooting, and let's literally creatively think out of the box. Till next time, see ya.